Hello, welcome to Prime Sports with me, Razak Musbau. Well, first, the Ghana Football Association has appointed Chris Hughton as the new head coach of the Black Stars following extensive deliberations between the two parties. The decision to appoint Hughton comes following the resignation of Otto Addo as the team's head coach after Ghana's exit from the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Otto Addo was head of the team with assistance from George Boateng and Masoud Didi Dramani after being appointed in March, with Hughton serving as the technical advisor of the team. However, after more than a month since the job became vacant, the Ghana FA has now announced Hughton to be the next man in the dugout for the Black Stars. Now, Black Stars assistant coach Masoud Didi Dramani has been speaking, and he has heaped praises on Chris Hughton, describing the 64-year-old as a human-centered person, and he believes this will help him to succeed in his new role.
He's a complete person, with good experience, with huge maturity. In terms of, so when I talk about huge maturity, then it means you know that his experience and his knowledge in the game both together makes him a more mature. And he's a human-centered person. You know, he connects people a lot, and a person who connects people a lot, you know, tells you that he's somebody who really stands out for development. I'll show you his pictures. He know he was here. He came here. I just told him, look, there's something good to come in our environment, so that you understand what a right to dream is all about. And then he came. I sent for him. He came, and we spent the whole day here. He was flying out that very day. We spent time in my technical office to engage with my staff. We spend time to engage with the student fools. So what does it tell? It tells you that this person is a human-centered person. And in our environment, we need people who are human-centered people. People can easily, you know, get at, you know, at that level, you need people who connect and work, you know, so that you bring your experience to bear. And so completely he's a human-centered person who connects people around.
There's more reaction on that story, and former Ghana international Lai Kinson has entreated Chris Hughton to maintain at least 70% of the squad at the 2022 World Cup, because he believes that if Chris Hughton goes ahead to take out a chunk of the squad who were critical in Ghana's performance at the World Cup, it just might not bid well for him.
I believe I will still maintain at least 70% of the players that went to the World Cup.
Wow.
In the current squad.
That's a huge number.
Yes, 70%. The reason why I said that, if you look at the squad that we took to the World Cup, they are not bad at all. You know, they are not bad at all. You know, because if you try to come in and then change totally everybody on the ground, I don't think you have a solid team. You go in, when you're building a team, you go in with the players that are there already, and then try to bring in the quality ones that will come, and then the regular players in the team competition. That's how you build a team. And then there is something called transition. You need to have a slow transition to build a team as well. So if you move, let's say 70% out and leave 30%, which means you are now coming to build the foundation from the scratch, and okay, it will take longer. But if you maintain the same players, let's say the key players that the coach, coming in coach, you've seen the players and you know that, okay, that can help me achieve what I want. You maintain them and then try to bring in new ones that can strengthen the team. So if I'm in Chris Hughton's situation, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Away from that, 6 years after sword was cut for the construction of 10 multi-purpose youth and sports resource centers, none of the projects have been completed following delay in the release of funds. And recognizing the difficulty in completing all 10 projects simultaneously, government resorted to focus on the completion of 5 before the end of 2023. In view of this, Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustafa Yusuf, embarked on a tour to inspect the progress of work at the various sites which are scheduled to be completed this year. He was left disappointed, but insists government remains committed to completing them before the end of the year.
And you've seen the work, the contractors are on site working. They've assured me
I'm not impressed about the work, the progress of work, but they've given me assurance that by April ending, they will be handing over the facilities for me. There is no any certificate outstanding per our site meeting. So they've given me a strong assurance that they are going to work to ensure that the place is handed over for use in April. So what I can assure you and the entire country is that government is committed in making sure that all the 10 youth resource centers are completed. 6 of them, second phase is ongoing. The next 4, the rest of the 4, second phase will start soonest, and we'll make sure that they are all completed. I also mentioned the huge investment that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has put in provision of sports infrastructure in this country. I mentioned that African Games, as we are all aware, coming. Government have invested on about $200 million in making sure that we get facilities ready for the African Games. So if you go to Legon now, the Legon Sports Stadium is taking shape. There is a huge warm-up track also being built. The rugby field, the Rugby Federation is going to get an international standard rugby field in Ghana, where after the games, beyond the games, we can host any rugby international competition in Ghana. If you go to Boatima, the road access to the motorway is being done to the facility side, Boatima side, where we are going to have an aquatic center, 10-lane competition pool, international standard or FINA standard or aquatic standard, where we are going to have a warm-up pool, 8-lane. We have a multi-purpose hall for indoor games, basketball, boxing, judo, badminton. Aside that, we are also going to have a tennis court, 5 of them, one of them covered spectator stand with 10-seater with VVIP sitting. This is unprecedented for any international tennis competition that can be hosted in Ghana. Aside that, we are going to have a temporary dome. The temporary dome is also going to have indoor games as well. Then we have administration block where officers who will be manning the facilities will be. Aside that, there will also be a football field and a track over there at Boatima. So government is investing hugely. Then I mention again that aside this huge investment, we are also our existing infrastructure. Accra Sports Stadium, we are renovating, we have done rehabilitation. We have also done renovation in Kumasi Sports Stadium, the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. We have done so in Cape Coast. We have also gone to, currently as we speak, the contractor is on site in Sekondi, Takoradi.
So that's the Minister for Youth and Sports there, Mustafa Yusuf there. We'll bring you more on this, but Mohamed Kudus continues to impress for Ayaz, and likewise a number of Ghanaian players who are doing well for their respective clubs. And my colleague Lawrence Baidu has been keeping track of them and came through with this report.
The past weekend was one that Ghanaian football fans will be proud of the performances of the country's best football talent away from home. Mohamed Kudus leads the pack once again after the Ajax midfielder hits his 8th league goal of the season in the club's win over Warwick, taking his season tally to 16 goals for club and country. Kudus also ended up with the Man of the Match award for the 2nd time in a row. Usman Bukhari found a scoring boot for Red Star Belgrade as they ran riot against Vozdovac in the Serbian Superliga. German-born Ghanaian talent Maurice Bruni-Kwartin scored a winning goal for Magdeburg in their Bundesliga 2 fixture. Inaki Williams came off the bench to register an assist that won the game for Athletic Bilbao when they faced Valencia on Sunday night. The forward was marking his injury then. Gideon Mensah put in yet another good display as Auxerre were held to a 1-1 draw by Angers in the French Ligue 1. The left-back created the most chances in the game and made 8 ball recoveries. Despite the loss to Wolverhampton Wanderers, Mohamed Salisu was one of the best players on the field for Southampton. Salisu completed the most tackles in the game. Kamaldeen Sulemana completed 8 dribbles on his full debut and made 1 key pass for the Saints as they succumbed to a 1-2 defeat to Wolves. Thomas Partey created 5 chances and completed more dribbles from the middle of the pack as Arsenal failed to beat Brentford at home. Joseph Pinto was unlucky not to find the back of the net as Genk suffered a 1-0 loss to Royal Antwerp in the Belgian top flight. Aside hitting the woodwork, the winger also created 2 chances and registered 2 shots on target before coming off with a shoulder injury. On the African continent, Ibrahim Moro and David Abagna were in action for Al Hilal in the CAF Champions League opener against Mamelodi Sundowns.
Well, that's all we have for you on Prime Sports tonight. With me, Razak Musbau. This day, there's more on Joy News.